To my dearest Agatha, it has been 2 fortnights since we last met. I have recently been hired by 20th Century Fox to create a Frankenstein movie. But you see, I've...
You tried, and that's what matters.
Well, 'cause that's the thing, it's just such an... If anything, that's truly... That is the ultimate version of the cold open, because it's just like... This movie is a Frankenstein. It just takes a bunch of pieces like horror, action, some comedy, some romance, and just jumbles it all together to form a corpse.
Where's the comedy?
Welcome to Jabbermouths.
There's some between...
I'll say it before we get too far into this. We're already talking about like all this that we haven't even said the name of the movie yet. I'm JD.
They read the title.
We said half of it.
That's fair. That's actually very fair.
Also, I assume you read the damn title.
I mean,
of the episode before clicking on it. Really?
That's true.
What film are they watching? Episode 20, Victor Frankenstein. There, I just read the title to you.
Hello, welcome to Jabbermouths. I am the horribly obsessed amputee inspector, JD.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you inspect amputees?
Yes, yes, I am also an amputee. That's why I inspect them.
Imagine you go to like, you're just like in a wheelchair, and you're just like rolling through a hospital, and you pull up someone's blanket. You say you're missing a leg. Pull the blanket, there are still 2 legs. Liar!
Bailiff, take this man away.
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for the amputee inspector.
Oh my god! And dude, I just watched the season 1 It's Always Sunny episode where they pretend to be in wheelchairs.
Oh.
That's all I can think of is them throwing each other out of the wheelchairs in a public mall. Anyway, that was my intro. Who wants to go next?
Put the brain in the zombie, Ethan.
The brain of zombie.
Well, we forgot the brain.
I can't wait to talk about that.
We forgot the brain.
And I'm Dr. Hunchback. Dr. Hunchback, MD. I work for the circus, but I'm also abused by the clowns, you see, but I'm still the doctor.
Hey, doctor, get over here. I can't see. You punched me in the eye.
I ain't blind from me syphilis, I is, doctor. I'm over here.
So this week we watched Victor Frankenstein.
Victor Frankenstein?
Victor Frankenstein.
It's a hit.
To Victor, to Frankenstein.
Victor Frankenstein Tokyo Drift. Okay. What was it, 2015?
And then the newest one is just Stein 8.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Can we get a spin-off that's just called Igor?
Igor and Victor?
Igor and Victor? No, Igor and Monster. And they're the spin-off franchise. Oh my god. The government
Frankenstein?
The government brings
that
back...
one already?
Yeah.
Aww.
The government brings back the Frankenstein monster to life and tracks down Igor to go, we need you two to partner up.
To defeat this Cthulhu.
To defeat this vampire at this castle. Here, quick, you get help from this guy named Van Helsing.
I really want to watch
Hugh
Van Helsing again.
The Hugh Jackman one?
Yeah.
I think we should put it on the list. I will argue for that
I don't know
movie.
if it's on anything.
I'll after this episode, I'll check. This movie came out, 2015?
2015.
So it's relatively new.
It looks pretty
good.
good.
The cinematography's not bad. And you got some very notable cast members. You're right. Mm-hmm. You have James McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe. And the guy who plays the inspector who's trying to hunt them is a very well-known actor whose name escapes me.
But he plays Moriarty.
He's Moriarty in Sherlock.
He's the priest in Fleabag season 2.
He's really good. And he's in that episode of
Modern Love. Fuck that show. Except for those few, 3 episodes are like, hey, the rest suck.
Yeah, 3 out of 8 do all right. But 3 out of 8 does not pass. Anyway, so if you want to watch Modern Love and share or not share in that disdain, feel free. But that's not what this episode's about. This episode is about a poor attempt of... Mark Gatiss? Mark Gatiss is actually... I really like him in about everything he does. By the way, the guy who plays the inspector.
Yeah.
This movie, at its best, is a poor attempt... Misguided attempt, I'll say, instead. A misguided attempt to tell the Frankenstein story in a new light, from a new perspective. It just seems like there's too much going on, right? We decided to do it from Igor's perspective in this movie, right? Like, for some reason, somebody went, hey, you know that awesome Frankenstein story and that, side character, Igor? I got an idea. What if we made Daniel Radcliffe Igor and did the whole thing from his perspective? And Daniel Radcliffe starts out in a circus. What do you guys think?
As a hunchback.
But
he's also a doctor.
Right, well, it's weird because Igor, stereotypically is some sort of deformed person.
Yeah.
And it's always just the idea that that's also a creation of Dr. Frankenstein's, or like the evil like spawn.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
So I thought it was just a weird guy who's like, well, where else am I gonna go?
that's also true. It's just weird that in the first like 20 minutes of this movie, A, we get an entire backstory for Igor that I don't feel like anyone ever asked for. And B, they fix him. Like, he's not a hunchback anymore. 20 minutes, because, well,
he swallows a bunch of puss. Or a bunch of
he
pus.
fucking like
Pus.
he like
Pus,
he like
not
siphon,
pus.
the way that rednecks siphon gas out of cars is how James McAvoy like fixes his problem.
How did he get cured? He just sucked on a lot of pus. That's why my man Igor hit it so hard it fixed his back. yeah.
So should we just go through like the rough plot and then kind of talk about the issues as they come up throughout the plot?
I'd say so.
Do you think that's the way to do this?
How vaguely can we do it? Because
I was just gonna sprinkle the plot, and as someone remembers something they want to talk about that piece of the plot, that's when we'll just kind of tangent off, then come back. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's how we typically do these
Man
episodes.
escapes circus. Man creates shitty dog.
Okay, that's way too vague.
Shitty dog.
Well, shut up. It's way too vague.
But here's the thing. So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you. My boy got his second COVID shot, and I just hit him in the arm. I'm so sorry.
Did you get in the same arm, or did you like alternate for fun?
No, I did it in the same arm because I got it in my non-dominant arm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been 3 weeks. I don't know why you wouldn't get it in the same arm.
And I asked the person who was giving me the
For
shot,
fun.
and she was like, "It doesn't matter."
I don't know why you would want to mess with your
Put it in
dominant
my butt.
arm.
I want to hurt to sit.
I want it to hurt to sit. Masochist. Can you give me a shot everywhere? I don't even care if there's fluid in the other ones.
Can you do it between my toes?
Oh. No, thank you. Can you? Ooh. Anyway, the movie opens on Igor,
Giving backstory.
who isn't Igor yet. Apparently, he didn't get to have a name.
He's just the hunchback who works for the circus.
Right, and he's
Well, he
super
doesn't
hunchback.
really work for the circus. He's enslaved.
He's enslaved by the
Yeah.
circus, but also the physician for the
He's
circus.
also the physician,
Which
and they
seems like
abuse him.
Yeah, this seems like a very bad idea to abuse the guy who is supposed to be taking care of everybody.
Yeah, because there could just be someone's, oh no, the scalpel slipped, stab, stab, stab.
Right, just blatant murder.
Yeah.
You know, and even if like you make the
Oh,
argument,
you sprained your ankle? Amputate.
Sorry, I have to
Right.
amputate everything. It's just the way.
it's just the way it is. There's nothing I can do
Yeah.
about
You
it.
broke your
You're gonna
finger?
die if I
Oh,
don't.
Oh, dude, you got syphilis? I
Quadriplegic.
gotta amputate your arm, dude.
I don't know. I gotta gouge your eyes out, man. That's the only way we're gonna fix you.
That's
Right?
a plot point.
Because this is. We'll get to that. Because this is Victorian area is what we've kind of decided. Late 1800s, early 1900s, England, Britain, something like that.
Beautiful Britain.
yeah.
Actually, it is London.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you're right. It is London because we have we don't really have much more than carriages, but we do have electricity. We do have some steam power.
engines,
We have stuff like that, and that'll play an important role later in the film. James McAvoy's character goes to the circus with the intent to basically steal dead animal parts
A classic, you know. That's what we all want to do.
Which he does.
because he's Victor Frankenstein, and that's what he's been experimenting on animals, and he sees. The reason he meets Daniel Radcliffe's character is this trapeze artist who Daniel Radcliffe is.
Lorelai.
Yeah, Lorelai, who Igor is just obsessed with.
She's the only person who smiles at me.
Yeah,
That's
is
true.
it? Yeah, is it? I mean, I can get you being obsessed about that. When you're a person who
That's
doesn't even have
true.
a name, and everyone you've ever met torments you, and she's the only ray of sunshine in that life, I can understand some sort of unhealthy dependence on that individual. I don't condone it, but I understand it. But apparently she's not really that good of a trapeze artist.
Yeah,
Because she
biffs it.
and it's not even the first time she's biffed it either. They talked about how she's fell in
She's
multiple
broken
times in the
multiple
past.
things. Oh,
Yeah, but she falls, and of course it's a shitty circus in the Victorian era, so there's no net.
Yeah.
and she just snaps her collarbone.
Collarbone?
To the
they
point.
do this like in the beginning of the film. They do this like really cheap thing where like they're like like,
X-rays?
seeing and like X-rays
Yeah.
of like someone's body, but like it's just really
But
poorly
you
done.
never
Yeah.
ever see it again. Like even
Until the
like
end.
Rankin.
You
Once
see it
at
at
the
the
end.
very, very end
Yeah.
of the movie. You see it when they're fighting the monster.
Yeah.
At the very.
Oh
end.
yeah. 'cause
When the movie decides
they
to
do
like
the heart.
hard turn into an action movie, we'll get
Yeah.
to that.
But anyway,
She falls, snaps her collarbone so hard that her collarbone is pressing on her lung and is going to
Yeah.
kill her.
Yeah.
Well,
So then,
because she can't breathe. Yeah.
Right.
so then Igor and Frankenstein, they both run in. He's like, I'm a doctor, but he's technically, a med student.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I feel like
well,
Daniel Radcliffe has more qualification as a physician than fucking James McAvoy does. Like,
Anyway,
he saved people. James McAvoy just cut up animals in the middle of the night and sewed them together.
So anyway, they discuss what to do, and then Daniel Radcliffe saves her using a pocket watch, and then they suddenly,
he fucking jams it into her like so hard, like just beats the shit out of her. Anyway,
and James McAvoy looks at him and goes, "Oh, you bloody crippled bastard! You're all right. Come with me."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna save you because oh my god, this cripple is smart," and is basically what he does.
Yeah, then Igor gets shoved into a cage.
Yes.
And then
You think you can fix my employees just because you're the doctor? Yes!
Yes,
my
that's
job!
the only thing you let me do!
Look like a fool. What, you wanted just the crowd to watch her die? The crowd loves it when the performers die.
What
It's
the fuck is
1800s
wrong
times.
with you? Yeah. So he gets not chained up, he gets thrown in a cage.
And then
James McAvoy shows up. And
breaks him out with a magnet. I don't know how that works.
I'm sure that... No, I'm not. This movie was probably not researched very well. But I imagine someone somewhere has tried to mess with a lock using a magnet before. I don't really know how that works.
What I think this was is that this was the end of the steampunk phase. The steampunk craze. It was 2015. So I think they were kind of like using some of that stuff. Like, magnets!
We'll throw physics to the wind if it sounds cool.
The flying boat, sign me up.
Yeah, I feel like 2015 is that one of those last years before people, like, there's still a lot of suspension of belief in movies, but like when it comes to things that need to physically make sense, people are a lot more critical of that nowadays than they used to, right? Like shooting the lock off a door. Yeah. People are a little more critical of that than they used to be, right? Things like of that nature. And so I feel like this passes for 2015, but today we're like, that's stupid. Yeah. You know what I mean? Although I didn't give it that much thought, to be honest. Because there's so much other dumb shit going on. They have to fight their way through carnies as soon as
the carnies immediately are like, oh man, I can't wait to throw hands with this hunchback.
It was like Avengers Assemble, the Carnival edition.
Yeah, the ringleader's just like, quick, get them! And they immediately jump next to them. They're chucking knives.
The knife thrower just had them on hand, ready to go.
They're breathing
kills
fire.
His friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember who he kills.
Oh, no, the guy in the mirror. They killed the guy in the mirror.
Yeah, but I don't remember what his, like, relevance to the carnival was.
He was just some rat man. He had, like, big teeth. Yeah.
Because he had been making fun
Behold! The world's largest dick! I fuck your mother, fuck your mother, fuck your mother. Sorry, I'm yelling in our apartment complex right now.
There's a girl getting the mail.
Oh, I hope she can't hear me.
I hope she can.
I hope she heard just
that. She had earbuds in.
We're good then. They do escape, but not before knife thrower just nails rat dude. Yeah. With one of these knives, square in the sternum, and for some reason, even though getting your collarbone broken didn't do it, I think he hits so. Oh yeah, there's this whole like weird slow mo sequence while they're getting out of there. But it's like they blew something up, and he does it like it's weird to me because the way it's shot, it's like, oh, that was calculated. But the way that it happened, like they had the budget to make it look perfectly calculated. And it didn't look perfectly calculated. They like throw this match and it barely like scrapes what it's supposed to scrape to do. They could have made it look fucking pinpoint, and they just chose not to. And I don't get that.
Yeah, because he knocks over a gas can
or something like that, right? And it's weird. Well, yeah, it was something like that. It was fuel of some sort because there's a fire breather. Yeah. And it's weird because Daniel Radcliffe's character is the one who knocks it over, and then James McAvoy's character is the one who actually sets it on fire. So somehow they were both on the same wavelength there.
No, I think Daniel Radcliffe accidentally knocked it over, and James
think?
McAvoy went,
Well, see, that's weird because for me it felt like that was intentional because McAvoy's...
You charming little cripple. I see what you did there.
Well, because McAvoy's, like, match trick that he does to light it looks like it barely lands, Like, it barely is successful, which is why it felt like Daniel Radcliffe did his thing on purpose because it's very shambly, just like what he does.
It's just cut away and then we see the explosion?
Yeah. Did we ever find out if this movie was PG-13 or rated R?
I mean,
I'm gonna check real quick. I think it's rated PG-13, but I'm gonna check real quick.
There's no curse words. There's barely any blood.
There's no fucks. The gore. Sorry, my phone went off. The gore is not great.
It's
passable.
It's passable, but it feels PG-13 is what I'm saying. So, anyway, he does successfully save. Yeah, it is 20. It is PG-13. So that makes that big a lot of sense. Oh, by the way, we watched this on Hulu. I forgot to say that at the beginning.
Let's see what else.
McAvoy saves Radcliffe.
Yep,
and then he says, "Hey, you charming bastard! My roommate named Igor Strasman disappeared. You're him now. Anyway, let's fix your back, and you're gonna help me with some cool shit."
Yeah, it turns out he's not a hunchback. He's got a cyst or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he fucking stabs Igor in the back with that. He's like,
with a giant ass fucking needle.
Yeah, he just straight up tells him, he's like, "This is gonna hurt a little bit." He's like, "What?" And then just fucking barrels it into him,
and then sucks some puss.
He siphons gasoline. The way that someone would siphon gasoline, he starts sucking the pus out of him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which was nasty.
I was eating cheesecake at that moment, and I looked down at my cheesecake and went, I don't really want to eat my cheesecake.
That's a gross
anymore.
comparison. Because it kind of had that consistency, a little bit of like melty cheesecake.
Yeah.
No, it did not.
If you melted cheesecake in the microwave for 30 seconds, it would have...
Butter's creamy goo.
It looked like semen.
So it just looked like cum.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, it was a little yellow for cum.
Yeah, you should get that checked out, bud.
Yeah. Anyway.
Go see a doctor, Ethan. Go see a
I was referencing
You know what?
Creamy goo.
I think we're good enough friends. Here's what we'll do. After this, we'll all run to the bathroom. We'll watch it, just, get one there. We'll examine it together. We'll come to a conclusion. We'll, consult
No.
WebMD.
We'll do it like a wine taster. Smell, look,
I'm not touching
consistency,
that. I'm not
taste.
tasting it. Don't you dare.
Sniff.
Look, I love you, Ethan. There's a
Swirl.
line. And tasting
You
cum
crossed
is
it.
where
You
I
crossed
find
it already.
I disagree. What is a good semen observation between friends?
No, see, you crossed it, and I sprinted through it like a finish line.
Oh yeah, you kept going.
It's not the only thing that crossed the finish line.
Anyway.
I think you fast forward a bit. Frankenstein's like, "Hey, yo, you want to see this cool shit?"
breaks his fucking
I'm making
back.
a bunch of body parts.
He breaks his back in order to fix it. That
Yeah.
does happen.
I'm reanimating body parts. You want in on this? And Igor's like,
Hell
I'll bet
yeah,
on
I
this.
do. Yeah, he
Hell
shows him a
yeah.
fucking... This is important because we'll talk about it later. He shows him a pair of eyes in this goo that he was able to electrify and actually make them sentient. Some. At least, like...
It follows a match, right? The
Yeah,
eyes follow the match.
Yes. So to an extent, they were alive. To an extent.
The muscles reacted.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's a better way of explaining it.
Well,
and so
then-
Igor's totally on board.
Well, and Igor goes, well, you crossed the nerve.
Yeah, he
That's
fucked
why.
up the nerves.
That's why they don't work together. And he goes,
Jim
I'm
Beck
gonna
was like,
fuck you.
You
And
beautiful
he's really
little
close.
bastard.
Yeah.
All of this is yours. Stay as long as you want.
Yes, and there's the recurring theme of every time that Igor starts to get some sort of like, cold feet about all this, because it is reanimating body parts, which I'm sure on some
weird.
level Igor's character understands that eventually this is going to turn to
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
but just like kind of blots that out.
Yeah.
Every time
Well-
he starts
well-
to get cold feet, Frankenstein's like, "But I'll give you things and
Igor-
stuff, and we'll have notoriety." And he's like, "Okay,
Igor
yeah,
doesn't-
you convinced me."
Igor doesn't leave the attic.
I don't think it was an attic. I think he was on
Well-
the main floor, and fucking Frankenstein
Well, no,
fucked
it was
around in a
basement.
basement like
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah,
weird fucking science rat he is.
Because he animates a bunch of individual parts, and then he doesn't see the finished thing until the first reveal.
Which is just those two still together though, in the basement.
Yeah. But I don't
But-
think Igor knew that he was reanimating.
I disagree. I feel like he had to have some sort imagine this. All right, I need you to do two legs for me now. Great. Now two arms. Great. Now a head. Great. Now can we do a heart and lungs and sort of other
Well,
internal
all we
organs?
see are
Don't
lungs
worry
and-
about why we're doing all of
Yep.
this. But, and why all these body parts seem like they would fit together decently. Don't worry about any of that. Like, he had to on some
Make
level.
a connection.
Right?
Yeah,
If
we don't
we're
see
supposed to believe that
connection.
Igor is a super intelligent, doctor level fucking individual, even by Victorian era standards, he had to at some point make the leap that this was going to be combined. They were gonna Mighty Morphin combine all of these parts together and make something.
Here's what I think the
right?
best part is, where it's just like, Victor, what is the first creature we'll reanimate? I'm glad you asked. The most docile, friendly animal there is. A chimpanzee! It's not like they'll rip your face off or anything. Let's reanimate one. And they fucking do it.
Yeah, they
His name
reanimated
is Gordon.
A chimp named Gordon. It's funny. No, he's been I noticed it. I don't know if either of you did. He's been working on Gordon. He had been working on Gordon since before he even met
yeah.
Igor. Because the restraint that he put on Igor to help fix his back, he had to use on Gordon. He said that because he talked about how he had to put it on Gordon also, which means that Frankenstein knew that a chimpanzee was not necessarily the best choice on some level, because he probably reanimated the torso and it just started flailing. I bet money that there was a night where his whole fucking like basement lab got fucked up by just the top half of a chimpanzee flailing around, connected to a couple wires, flailing around a laboratory room. I refuse to believe that didn't occur. Or even like, oh, that'd be funnier if it was the bottom half.
That's interesting. So basically, they do their big display with Gordon. It freaks the fuck out. They have to kill it.
Yeah, they go to Frankenstein's med school to show it off to this specifically to this really rich guy. I think.
And at first he's like, "You fucking idiots! It won't work," and it does. And he's like,
and then Lorelai's there, just
kind of has Igor's moral compass. Like, this is wrong. Then the rich guy's like, "Not bad, not bad. You know what?
Do it again?
Great. I love it. I will give you money.
You need to do this again.
Weird. I like it.
We will supply you with parts." And then Frankenstein goes, "Human body parts? Human body parts, no problem, not a problem." And that's when Igor starts raising red flags.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I've noticed. So, they're supposed to be smart.
They're both supposed to be heavily intelligent, but they do really stupid shit.
Here's the big one I noticed. So when they're redrawing the plans, with the night they start drinking, because they just got like the checks. So they're drinking. They're like, "Oh man, let's start like sculpting the new man."
Isn't that when?
That was until later.
When Dad comes in and is like, "You
Dad
bitch,
came home.
you're a disappointment."
Yeah, because Igor was already thinking about leaving again, or like thinking about getting out of it, and then he sees the way that Frankenstein's dad treats him, and that's when he's like, "I'll get the alcohol. Let's just have a night." And then he gets pulled back into the shenanigans again.
Yeah, but this what's interesting is like, weren't you guys supposed to be smart? And so they figure out like, "Oh, that's what we didn't do. We didn't give Gordon any muscles." It's sure, like, one of his arms was just completely bone. And so they're like, "Oh, we didn't give him a functioning body."
Yeah, he was able to almost maul a guy. You know what we should do this time? Let's make something bigger.
Let's make it
That's
efficient.
the right play.
Multiple
what
hearts.
They call it the peak of humanity or something like that.
They decided to give this fucking monstrosity multiple hearts, 4 lungs, and like we're gonna make a peak human. I'm like, you couldn't get. Oh yeah, he's like, we need to have a flat top head, and they're drunk. Yeah. And so Igor's like, why? And Frankenstein's like, because I like it that way. Yeah. Right. But before, so there's a plot line that's been happening this whole time that none of us really cared about, to be honest. But it was needed for later in the film to move the plot forward. There's this inspector who shows up at the carnival.
Inspector Gadget.
It's what he becomes later. He becomes Inspector Gadget later.
He loses a hand.
Go Gadget wooden hand.
He becomes Claw.
He does become
the
Claw.
bad guy.
He even closer. We'll talk about that in a second. So it's this inspector who is the guy played by Moriarty.
Yeah.
Who isn't supposed to be investigating the murder at the carnival.
Yeah.
And is able to piece together who the two people are. He's actually the most intelligent person, I think, in the entire film. Yeah. Granted, it just makes him look like a crazy person, and so people don't trust him for good reason. Because he's able to piece together... We'll go through it, because there's going to be more of it. He's able to piece together that James McAvoy showed up that night to steal a lion piece. He is able to piece together that he then saved Igor after seeing that Igor was an intelligent person. He is then able to piece together that Igor... who wasn't Igor at the time, is now impersonating Igor Straussman at their estate, and they are doing some sort of terrible experiments. And then is able to piece together that those experiments are illegal, not only by the confines of Scotland Yard, but because our investigator is super religious and just like morally despises what they're up to. Right, and that's his narrative, right? Is like, Jesus said this bad, you're a person of Satan, I'm gonna find you.
The good Lord Jiminy Cricket said you're not allowed to do this.
The good Lord Jiminy Cricket said you're not allowed to do this, Pinocchio. I'm gonna come and break your nose.
No, just about that inspector's hunting Geppetto. You can't reanimate wood.
I actually really like that.
Pinocchio, run!
I actually kind of like that line. If there was a police.
All right, Geppetto, you sick freak. What, you made a bunch of wooden kids in your basement? You gonna reanimate them? No, I just wanted to be a father. You sick fuck.
Son of a bitch. Fuck you. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. You're just gonna diddle those wooden kids. You knew it.
They're gonna have fun with you in prison, you sick piece of shit. Anyway.
Mamma mia.
So that's that inspector's narrative. So then we get to the point that they have started to work on human things.
Yeah. Started to build me a man.
And this is
with long hair and a tan, and he's good for relieving my tension.
His name is Mr. Big.
No, from Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's the lyric of the song.
True,
yeah. God, that movie's so good.
Just imagine if you had that instead. If you actually had Frankenfurter.
I feel like we'd have more to talk about it, which would be in a more positive light. But
because let's see. They start to reanimate, they start to build Frankenstein. like
it's when they start working on actual human parts that everything begins to kind of crash down.
Well, and so
because the inspector couldn't get the warrant.
Yeah. Well, and Igor goes like, I want to go
hang out with Laura.
I want to get my dick touched.
And then they do.
I got a good back now.
Yes. They hang out multiple times.
Yeah.
And I think they bang, right?
Yeah, they bang.
I assume
there's the scene. Well, there's
the
scene.
No, they do.
Yeah.
Because Lorelai says they'll teach you.
Yeah, there's a scene in which we see, like, from top down, where Lorelai's in the big red dress and Igor is lying on.
He's just shirtless though. He's still wearing full pants and shoes.
Because it's PG-13. We don't.
They diddle through the. Oh, don't you love PG-13? All your clothes on sex. Isn't that hot?
I'm curious. What? This is a weird tangent. When did the last Harry Potter come out? Curiosity thing. It was like
2011.
2011.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still riding the Daniel Radcliffe high of him doing just big budget stuff because Hollywood thinks he's in it. This isn't him. Do you think? You know that movie that came out recently with his art, like where that opens with Daniel Radcliffe's hands bolted to multiple guns?
Yeah.
Do you think when he decided to say yes to this movie that not 4 years later he would have his hands? Sorry, not 6 years later he'd be in a main role after being a Swiss Army man.
I love Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man is great, but do you think that like it's interesting his life, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like Shia LaBeouf, where Shia LaBeouf actively denounced big Hollywood and did whatever he wanted. Radcliffe like slowly fell into fuck this weird big budget Hollywood bullshit. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just interested to see that path. You know, I wouldn't mind a docu-series that would just follow actors and just kind of talk about what led them from one movie to another. Because I want to know how we get from Harry Potter to Igor to I have my hands bolted to guns. I'm just curious. You know what I mean?
It's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't like.
I mean, money.
But like Swiss Army Man
wasn't
like that. And I'm sure he wasn't paid anywhere near what he got paid for the Hulk.
I'm sure. It's just, it's that...
Because, he doesn't care about money anymore.
It's that excitement of roles.
Is it that idea that when you make it big like that, you stop caring about the paycheck as much as you care about...
Well, there are also a lot of actors who are like, yes, to act on the stage, to be in a Broadway show.
Well, that's true, but Hugh Jackman didn't stop doing movies while he was on Broadway, you know?
Yeah.
But, it's just weird to me, because it's like... I don't know. It's a weird trend that would be interesting to explore because you have all these actors who make it big and then decide to start doing stuff that they only want to do, and then you have these actors who
make it big, literally anything.
Well, or make it big and keep asking for money, like Robert Downey Jr. Right, and his recompense with the Marvel universe, but he still made like $300 million. Like his agent forced basically Disney to give him a ridiculous amount of money for the last two movies.
Pretty much started.
Yeah.
The Marvel Cinematic
I don't disagree
universe.
with that. I just don't know if that necessarily merits one person to make $300 million.
When your franchise has made
billions,
$7 billion.
Right. I'm saying he might have done great to start it. I'm just saying that he wasn't the only reason that the Marvel universe did well. I think he was very important, extremely titular. Like if they had done Captain America first, I don't think the Marvel Cinematic Universe would have been as good.
Well,
Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, you also have to look back at
God forbid if they did Thor first.
He was the first really charismatic leading man in a Marvel film. So you look back at all the others it's me, Ghost Rider. I'm Nick Cage.
Spider-Man was fine.
Spider-Man was fine.
I like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Fantastic Four was
Chris Evans was in that too.
It's true.
This is your daily reminder to understand that Chris Evans was a douchebag flame guy in Fantastic Four in the 2000s.
That sounds very homophobic of you.
Yeah. I don't think that's homophobic.
Douchebag flame guy.
No, it's not like those are two separate characteristics. He was kind of a douche and he was a flame guy. Those aren't bad.
Are you saying he was flaming?
Literally, yes. Literally. From a literal standpoint, he said flame on and turned into a giant goddamn... His name was the Human Torch.
I don't even remember where we are in the movie.
Okay, we are at the first the climax piece.
Yeah,
right?
where the inspector, he's basically all right, I know you're doing something fucky in there. Let's get him, boys.
Right, without having a warrant. Yeah. He decides to go into their house.
So they're trying to break down the door.
Yes.
And then Igor climbs to the back, but then he also follows because he shows up with the gun. So then they find the real Igor Strasman is a corpse. With his eyes
in a block of ice.
Yeah, a block of ice.
And I feel like Victor lies here because he goes, "I found him like that." No, you didn't. You put him in the ice, man.
No, I mean, I do feel like he found him because he does explain that he's a morphine addict, so I can understand. It's just not reporting it and just putting him in ice.
Oh, okay. I understand him. But this goes back to the very first experiment that Victor shows him because Igor Strassman's eyes have been ripped out. That's the only like gory moment we get in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Is these guys, both of his eyes have been ripped out.
It's Thor Ragnarok level eye rip out. It's just
it's not that bad. There's just like bloody holes. Or it's like the Mummy. If you ever saw that, have you not seen the original Mummy?
I think I have.
The first two are on the list.
I think I have at one point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I can't wait till we reach those movies. I'm excited for those. Anyway, Brendan Fraser, you are my god. Anyway.
I think, so then the inspector comes in with a gun and says, all right, in the name of Christ, my Lord and Savior, I'm shutting this down. Yeah. And then Frankenstein's like hell you are. And then he puts his hand in between a bunch of giant gears and cuts off the inspector's hand.
Yeah, and they use that as a
diversion. You don't know they flee
that either. You just see him screaming and yelling.
Well, it's because it's PG-13.
Yeah,
if it was rated R, we would have seen
get chopped off.
I mean, I did too.
We all wanted to see it.
This movie would have been more enjoyable if it was able to get the R rating. But from a Hollywood perspective, R ratings means a smaller audience, which means the movie's not going to make as much money. Which movies like Deadpool have already proven that's not necessarily the case.
How much money did this movie make?
I don't know. Not enough. Yeah. They flee to the countryside. Or before they go to the countryside, they stop off at their rich benefactor's
The rich benefactor's it's like, wait, you're running from the law? Say no more, fam. Hop in the carriage.
Right, he's like, bitching, let's go.
And then he goes to Igor like, hey, I know you're not the real Igor. Throw him in the river, boys.
Well, he only does that because Igor makes a point to go, I'm done. It's done. I did too far. It's too much. There's no amount of wooing me or alcohol that's going to fix this at this point. I'm out. I'm just out.
We're literally running from the law to Scotland, man. This ain't right.
Yeah, and that's when the benefactor's like, okay, you're not useful to me anymore. I'm going to kill you. Oh, and this is the evil plan divulged to the guy who's going to die, who's not really going to die.
Yeah.
And just so you know, since you're going to die, I'm going to kill Frankenstein too as soon as he shows me.
Because I'm going to take the control of this technology for my family. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, who the fuck are you even? We didn't even meet this character until like halfway through the movie. A little over halfway through the movie.
He doesn't even get an introduction. He just shows up and starts
being well, Frankenstein.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about this dude. I never gave it. He's a plot device. Yeah. The same way that the inspector is kind of only there to be a plot device. Yeah. Right? That pushes them to Scotland.
And then for some reason he decides, hey, I'm going to kidnap Lorelei and we're going to go all the way to Scotland to follow you.
Exactly. Because he gets his... There's some sparks that happen at the same time that the inspector gets his hand caught in the gear. Yeah. So he loses his eye and his hand. Yeah. And is kicked off the force. Yeah. Basically, because he acted without a warrant. Yeah. Even though he was in the right, he acted without. Like I said, he's been right the entire time. It's just that what he's been saying is so fucking batshit. Yeah. So they run to Scotland. First they throw Igor in the harbor, half-assly with his hands tied, and he just immediately is able to get out of the restraints.
He really swims the surface.
I'm a circus animal.
Yeah, I used to be in the circus. I can bend a little bit. He didn't even bend that much to get out of the restraints, by the way, and just gets out of. I even said, like, if you want to kill someone like that, you tie him to a weight. Yeah, why would you not tie them to a weight? I understand it's Victorian era, 18th century, or 19th century, but goddamn. Anyway, they retreat to the countryside.
Yep. So they retreat to the countryside. They all show up. And Igor's like, all right, I got to go find Frankenstein over in that intimidating tower in this lightning storm.
Yeah, they're in a castle. This is how they explain the whole castle thing.
Rich benefactor.
Is that he's... Yeah. Because in previous stories, it's been that Frankenstein has been wealthy, right?
And he's always lived in that castle.
Exactly. But in this story... They change. That's one thing they changed. That's one of the things that doesn't bother me that much that they changed, right? If it was little... Up until this point, it has been small enough changes that it hasn't totally made me hate this movie. Mm-hmm. But it's just been different. And not better, not worse, just different. And that's fine, right? It's the last... When we get to the last 20 minutes, that's when we're going to really rip this apart. So just hang on with us for a second. Yeah.
We get to the tower.
Yeah, and Frankenstein has been given this whole staff to work with at this point. We're talking like probably like 20, 30 people.
Yeah, I feel like it's more than that. There's a dude at every...
Yeah, every single, like there's an entire, like, 30-man team.
What do you think? 50, 60 people?
Yeah.
50, 60 people?
Sure.
Because they're working there's even like a station for the blood, there's a station for each appendage, it's it's weird how crime just raises your infrastructure right through the roof.
Yep. Detroit would like to have a word.
Oh, the Lions are so
Detroit
fucked.
Become Frankenstein.
At least we're not Detroit.
It's fair. It's a very fair point. So night falls. There's a huge lightning storm. Igor's like, I gotta go try to save Frankenstein because he's still a good man, and they're gonna try to kill him.
Yeah.
Frankenstein is like, no, I must follow my heart.
Well, they have a weird heart-to-heart about when Frankenstein was a kid. They have a very weird explanation as to why Frankenstein is like this.
My brother saved me in a blizzard, and he died. His name was Henry Frankenstein, and
I have
his pocket watch. So you see, I have to create life to fix that imbalance. Like, then have a kid.
Right, you could have just had a kid. It's weird because I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but Igor had like a more sane justification for that based on the story. He was like, I see. Okay, you're trying to bring your brother back. I get this. This is a really bad thing. You're not going to get your brother back. It's a psychological, I get it. He goes, no, you don't get it. It's much more straightforward than that. Yeah. I am the reason why I lost a life, and so I must create one to fix it.
Have a kid.
Even though Igor was totally right, because as soon as they bring him to life, he refers to the monster as his brother.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then here's one of the funniest ones. The funniest part, I think, is just like, so the monster comes alive, lightning everywhere, starts fucking up shit, like,
they didn't think it
the whole
through.
contraption starts breaking, a bunch of people die, and then, of course, here's the funniest thing, so he goes up to the monster, he's like, oh, Henry, touches his face, and all I can think is, did you actually remember to put your brother's brain in the monster?
Or a brain in general.
A brain in general?
And they didn't.
Yeah. Or maybe they did, I don't know.
It's very ambiguous about this. Yeah. But immediately, Frankenstein...
He touches it and goes, oh, I shouldn't have done this.
He's like, there's no life behind these eyes. Oh, fuck.
They literally did the whole setup and were like, oh, shit. What do we do after we give him life?
Which is dumb because, they're like, he has no emotion, there's not a soul here.
Millions of dollars on this or whatever.
But as soon as somebody, the inspector shows up, right?
Yeah.
Who shoots the monster immediately.
The monster hits him and he gets electrocuted. Well, he gets into a machine.
Oh, and the cut on that. That's the only bad piece of cinematography in this. And it's not really cinematography, it's that they didn't want to put in the effort to do the stunt. It's because they send him flying into basically a Tesla coil and electrocute him to death. But the way they do it is very college film school-esque, where you see Frankenstein hit him, and then the second he hits him, it just hard cuts. Yeah. Like, you don't see him fly through the air or anything, it just hard cuts to a fake body being thrown into an electrical system, and then the effect of it being electrocuted on top of it.
They were like, oh shit, how do we tie up the inspector's loose ends?
Loose ends.
Right.
And then...
Because for some reason...
editing, and
for some reason, everything explodes... And it's just Victor and Igor are literally the only ones to survive.
Here's the moment. Because the monster's still alive, right? And everybody else has been killed. The benefactor's dead. The benefactor's friends are all dead. At this point,
they're all dead.
They fell way down. Right. Because they were in this elevator thing. Which falls and dies. They're both dead. The inspector is now dead. Lorelei is escaped and way away from the entire situation, safe and sound.
We think.
We are under the impression. Yeah. And so and this is when Victor realizes his mistake, that they shouldn't have done this to this degree, and it becomes an action movie. For the next 20 minutes, action music starts playing, and they start working together to figure out how to kill the monster.
Yeah.
Who is clearly showing emotion. He's angry. He's in pain. He's obviously not talking, but he's also been alive for all of 5 minutes.
And all you've done is gone, brother! Oh shit, that's not brother.
Maybe you should give him some time.
Right, like imagine if Hulk was just born. Yeah. And you started trying to kill him. Yeah, he's gonna fucking react poorly and try to beat your ass. That's called survival instincts. You didn't give him a chance. The only thing he's known so far...
versus nurture debate, apparently.
Right, the only thing he's known so far is getting a bullet in the arm. Yeah, he's going to be a little hostile. So they fight him. And there's this really dumb joke moment where one of them basically breaks a pole or something into a sharp, blunt object and stabs him, the monster, who then falls over. It's Igor stabs him, and then he falls over. And then Victor goes, Igor! He has 2 hearts! And the monster gets back up and keeps fighting.
It's basically the second health bar thing, like... Damn it!
He's killed the boss.
That was the...
Phase 2.
The killed the boss cutscene. Igor! He has 2 hearts!
And then Victor eventually stabs him. and then rushes off. And then Lorelai, for some reason, was just hanging out.
They pass out.
they
Victor
pass out.
and Igor pass out.
That's because they both get hurt.
Yeah.
Igor gets fucking... No, Frankenstein gets fucking beat to...
He gets thrown
beat
around.
enough.
He gets physically... not enough to not wake up and leave. Yeah.
Like, you gave this dude biceps big enough to, like, throw Tesla
coins. You could probably bench press a car. Cars didn't exist back then, but you know what I mean.
Bench press a horse.
Sure.
Yeah.
And, like, the Frankenstein is smashing on his chest, and it's like, yep, this is fine.
Well, it's just weird, because there's no, like... When they're fighting, it doesn't feel real, because, well, the audio's an issue. And the other piece is, like, they don't react in a way that would make sense. You just watch Frankenstein throw somebody, but when he hits Victor Frankenstein in the back...
Frankenstein.
He just yells, but like in reality, he would have been like smashed into the ground.
Yeah,
right?
like smashing his
like hard enough that you would have seen dust kind of dissipate
smashing
from the ground, right?
His scapula and ribs, just like
right. So it just felt very, very fake.
And then Lorelai comes in and goes, "Oh, Igor, we can finally be in love."
And Frankenstein's fucked off.
Victor already like wrote him a letter. It's like, "Here you go." From Victor Frankenstein, who's now out in the countryside.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna try this again. I mean,
but if I do,
one day,
and then
I'm gonna remember to put a brain in because there's just a picture of a brain going into a Frankenstein
that's what he's looking
head.
at him, just like moving brain into head. It's like, was that not there to begin with?
Wait, did you not put a brain in this motherfucker? Yeah, there's gonna be problems. Did you not give the chimp a brain? I'm curious. Did the chimp not get a brain?
See, I just like to one of my favorite things. I brought this up during. I like to imagine it's like, oh yeah, have you had other experience? Yeah, but they're never angry. They were just like super racist. He just wakes up, like the first thing he says is a racial slur. He just pulls out a gun. God damn it again!
I would love that if that was the actual plot of this movie. Is like the only issue, like everything's working perfectly, except no matter what he tries, the thing he brings back is always racist.
No, even just like, don't worry, I brought back a parrot. God damn it! You should believe that.
I'll believe it. I'll think about
42
believing.
minutes.
Ooh,
I can't believe
I'll find it. I know what happened. I was there.
Just everything. God damn it!
Yeah.
Where do you keep getting these brains? I don't know.
Yeah. Overall, I would say this movie was bad, but it was a lot more fun than last week, right? This was a good...
I wasn't angry when we paused halfway.
Right, I think we had a good time with this movie, which is something... let me shut up. I think we had a good time laughing at this movie.
In comparison.
Thank you. Which is, I'm just saying it's something that we haven't been able to say for like 2 or 3 weeks now, okay?
I'm excited for next week.
Neither of you liked Hitman well enough to laugh at it very much. No. I did. Neither of you did. Valiant for me was a mess, but was fine for you guys. And then let's not talk about last week.
See, that's why I'm excited for finally we're tackling a different genre of film next week. And
I'm excited.
I'm excited. I feel like we can really get some mileage out of this.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, I think we're good to kind of wind down. All right,
I
know the answer, but I'm gonna say it. This week, would we rather
you don't
watch
even
this
need
movie
to
or
ask.
last week's movie? I have to for the sake of consistency. This week's movie. It's not even
obviously
a question.
This.
That other movie, which shall not be named, is just no.
And it was and all the DVDs were collected and lowered deep within the earth, so they could not hurt anyone ever again.
Oh shit! The Corps dug them up.
No.
Just like them just drilling down. What the fuck is this, a DVD for Sex in the City? What the fuck?
Why is there like a container down here?
Just a little note says "Do not open."
Yeah, and then just like one of the guys goes out in the spacesuit like, what's it?
All right, this has been a good episode. Anyone else have anything? Any final notes or anything? All right.
No, I think we're good.
On that note, I have been your rich, douchey benefactor, JD.
I now have a brain, Ethan.
Cabaret dancer, Barrett. That's the thing. That's what Lorelai is. She dances cabaret. Good night, everybody.